Welcome to the Growing Old Disgracefully podcast. Ruth, we had some technical errors last week, so hopefully this week we get a podcast recorded.
Yeah, I think I'm going to blame having teenage boys at home on half term. Maybe it affected the bandwidth, not just my bandwidth. I mean, not theirs, the internet as well. Yeah, that was annoying.
Yes,
Turned into
yes, it's
robots.
always that's it. It was like literally listening to Stephen Hawking. I was like, "What the hell's happening here?" It was like, do you remember you used to get the old-fashioned internet where it used to be like the startup? I was like
Dial-up,
that. I was
yeah.
like, I'm not sure what's going on here.
I remember watching pages load as well. So you'd plug it in and it would dial up, and then you'd just watch the words coming onto the page. Oh,
That
people
was
don't
always
remember
that was
those
always the
days.
laugh. It was always the laugh as a youngster trying to download like dodgy pictures because they would come in like lines.
Do you remember what was it called? It was like on the Nokia thing. Was it WAP? They would be like pixel images. It's like the first images, and you could go to these sites, and they would be pixel images, like just made with the pixels on your phone and black and white screen. Was it WAP? And I remember people showing me dodgy images on those, but they were just like
I don't know
they
what that is.
Was it WAP?
Was it like cartoon dodgy images, like stick men stuff? Because obviously I can imagine it's not going to be like what pictures are nowadays.
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't WAP. I'll have to look at the name. Oh, you know, it was WAP. It says an obsolete late 90s technical standard that enabled early mobile devices to access simplified internet services, news, emails, text-based web over cellular networks. But basically, they were literally just made. You know how you could do smileys with the eyes and the the colon and brackets. It was a bit like that, but they'd managed to create these moving images that were a bit naughty. And I remember people being very excited about that.
Nokia 3210 was still the best because of Snake.
I used to love Snake. Yeah. This is
So
quite
good.
the fitness
So
podcast
good.
that we're doing today,
So
isn't it?
sad and so simple, but just so addictive.
I don't think I'd be able to play it today. I think I'd be.
Remember one of the biggest games ever was being Tetris.
Yeah.
Genuinely, one of the simplest things that you can ever think of putting a game in. Basically, a bunch of blocks and just trying to knock them out. Like, how much more simple could you get than Tetris? And it's still people play it left, right, and centre.
I mean, I used to love Tetris. I had a Game Boy Color, I think, or just game. I did play it on the Game Boy. Tetris on the Game Boy. I was never that big into computer games at all. But I was telling my boys that there were computer games that I used to play actually, because they were going, oh, like mums. And I was like, I used to play Tekken. Used to have Tekken nights actually.
Yes, Tekken.
I know. I was like, no one was allowed to play Yoshimitsu. And I was like, what? Yes, Street Fighter. But I think I was late. I think Tekken was later. Yes. I did find it recently and I was like, oh, I know I liked it. It took like 5 minutes per turn, you know, just like bash. And then I was like, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I remember playing that as well. So, you know.
Any games where you just basically mash palm the controls is the best way. Anything that's too intricate about trying to do stuff. Yeah.
No, didn't even like Mario.
I had like a limited time span on Mario. Like I lost interest quite quickly, and I wasn't too bad at it. It wasn't like I was crap at it, and but it was just like this is a bit boring. It's very samey, dropping into sewage pipes and jumping on shells and stuff. It's not really much of, and I can say that.
At it.
Yeah.
So you were about to ask a question as well. I realised.
Yeah. How's your training been going?
It's been. I'm pretty consistent. So I was thinking about this the other day because I was like, right, I'm ready to lose a bit of the winter insulation, Andy, that I've likely gained over. Well, no, I have gained over the winter, but nothing crazy. And I was like thinking about the areas. I was like movement, nutrition, and then those things that help my recovery as well. And I was like, my movement is consistent. Like my training is regular, and I kind of follow this.
What's the name of
my pattern? But I've got this event coming up in April now. I don't know if I told you about it. And I'm
What's
doing,
that one?
it's like a Hyrox, but it's called Tryker.
Mm-hmm.
And
All right.
it's the runs, instead of doing a kilometer, the running is 800 meters between stations. And instead of wall balls, you've got ram thrusters. Now, the ram is like a tube that you hold. And then, so it's like, I'm trying to describe it, but it's like a hollow tube that weighs, I think it's 8.5 kilos. And then you're doing thrusters with it. And
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I'm doing that with another coach, and I was like, I should probably put in some specific training into my strength workouts. But at the moment, I've just been doing same old, and just knowing that I've got the fitness there to do it. But I probably should do some specific, get back on the ski erg, get back on the rower, just for form,
Yeah.
and focus
Get
on
some
what else.
kind of stuff a bit closer to what you're doing. There's so many
Yeah,
of these
and then
competitions kicking
yeah.
about just now.
There's loads. This one looks quite nice though, because they do, for beginners, they do a one that's got shorter distance running in between, so like 500 meters, and modified exercises. So they have another category for people who are perhaps new to it, which I think is quite a nice
Hmm.
option to have. And then people can do
Yeah, that's
that
good.
as it's a nice intro. But it's in Dublin, Andy. I've never been to Dublin.
The
I know.
largest city in the world.
The largest city in the world.
Because it keeps doubling and
Oh,
doubling.
Dublin. I was like, there is something. I was like, Andy, oh my God, you got me. That I was like,
That's like the ultimate dad joke.
I know that really is. Do you know, I was talking to a guy recently and he said, I'm not going to be online tomorrow because it's like my web guy, because I've got a dentist appointment. I went, okay, what time is it? And he said 2:30. And I was like, are you taking the mic? But he was like,
I like that.
no, I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice that they gave me that time. I was like, you didn't question it. They gave you the
Yes.
time of 2:30.
That's it.
Anyway, but
That's
what about
another
your
quality dad joke.
dad joke? I know there's some good ones. What about your training? How's it going? Because you've been
Yeah, good.
leaning down a bit. You've been on the
Yeah.
yeah.
The training's going pretty well just now. Actually, I've been following a protocol called Y3T, which is basically like your rep ranges change weekly. So you do the same exercises, but you add. Excuse me, the wife is currently underneath the desk trying to do something, and I've no idea what she's trying to do.
Oh, the wife. I thought you said the Wi-Fi. I was like, the
No, the
Wi-Fi?
wife. She's
The
doing something.
wife.
What are you doing? Well, hurry up then.
I love that. So subtle. I
Yes,
couldn't
we're
hear her at
recording at the
all.
moment. Hurry up and get out. Yeah, no, training's been going pretty well. So like the Y3T protocols basically like undulate volume in terms of reps. So it's basically the same exercises, and then over the course of 3 weeks, you increase your rep range each week. So week 1's 8 to 10 reps, week 2's 12 to 15, and then week 3's 15 to 20. And I tell you what, see when you get to the 15 to 20, because you try to keep the same weight from week 1 to week 3, so you can employ stuff like rest pause, you can employ like drop sets. So normally what I do, like the second week, 12 to 15 is like a rest pause, so I'll get 10 or 11 reps done, and then basically take a rest, finish off my sets. Week 3 is generally rest pause first and then finish off with a drop set. So it's really taxing. It really kicks the back end off you. But I'm really enjoying it actually. It's quite nice.
I think I'd have to do it as clusters that final week, 20.
Yeah,
reps.
you can, and that's the kind of stuff that you do. You do clusters, you can do rest pause, you can do drop sets, anything just to get the set like the minimum amount of reps done. So as many as you can get done, as quick as possible. But like 20 reps last week was disgusting, because like I can play around with on an incline chest press, dumbbell chest press. They've got 54s, and I can quite happily ping them around for like a set of 10. A set around for a set of 10, and then the issue that you have from there is that 54 is never going to translate to 20 reps. So I have to like basically really started back at like 32s and work it that way, so that I know I can get towards the end of the set with the weights in mind. So yeah, it's pretty taxing. My body is like, what the damn hell are you doing to us? And it's been enjoyable though, but it's tough. It's a proper mental challenge as well, which I actually quite like when I train. So kind of like to have that kind of sort of bit between my teeth going like, really need to pull the finger out this week.
I mean, it's having that clear focus to commit to, isn't it? If you go in, it's one of the reasons I started going back into the gym rather than training at home, is because the training at home, like I've got a decent setup. I've got like my rack and I've got a lat pull down, even it's good, but it's in this room with the office. It's so easy to get very distracted and you're not fully focused on your training. So then going into the gym, it's like my mentality is changing. And I know that some people have rooms that they can just really escape to, but I have my computer in here and I find that I'm like, oh, well, I'll just start doing that in between in my rest or whatever.
Training wise, like I've got the studio and I get asked that quite a bit. Like, oh, you've got your own place. Why do you not train there? It's like, well, it's a different mindset when you go into a gym. Like I've said on previous podcasts that I've changed gyms because I still have that little bit of ego in me that I go in and I'm in the previous gym. Apart from like maybe one or two people, was generally the strongest person there. It's not that motivating, and I still have that little bit of ego when it comes to training that I like to come in and be like, I'm not the big fish in the pond here. I need to pull my finger out to push a bit harder. That's always I've always enjoyed being the underdog, as you would say. So yeah, that gives me a little bit of intrinsic motivation just to go in and push a bit harder. So, but these are the kind of things that you have to work out where you get motivated from. I was chatting to a client about that this week about like motivation. That I struggle to get motivated, and I'm like, well, to be fair, motivation's generally the end of the line. You've got to have put your hard work in first. You've got to suck it up and get the hard yards done. You then get your results. Then the motivation comes, and then that drives you on to continue and putting the hard work in to keep getting progress. I think everybody thinks that motivation just comes out of nowhere.
I had a really nice quote in a book. I was listening to a book by Brad Stulberg, which was called The Way of Excellence, and it's like his newest one. And there was a quote, and it said something like, action creates motivation. And it's not waiting for motivation in order to start. It's knowing that once you've started, motivation tends to come. And the other thing he said in it is something like, you don't need to feel good to start. Starting is what makes you feel good. So again, it's those sorts of things. Like there's times where you shouldn't do it, right? You're ill, whatever, blah blah blah. But there's often times where you're like, oh, I can't be bothered today, or whatever reason it is, and then you find you doing it, and then you notice how good it makes you feel, and you're more likely to carry on, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I always say that like it's not motivation that starts the majority of people. The thing that starts the majority of people is it's new, it's exciting. I've got a new program, or I'm working with a new coach, or they've got the motivation isn't. It is motivation, but it's the motivation that you're bringing on yourself because it's a challenge, it's something new. But as the further you get into it, motivation needs to come from monitoring the small wins, that £1 drop if you're trying to cut a bit of weight, or the 2 kilo increase on your bench from that week. We have to, and I think a lot of people overlook that stuff. I was having I had a check-in with one of my clients last week, and we're discussing that, and she was like, I don't feel like I've had a very good week. And I'm like, well, I'm reading your check-in and I'm thinking you've had a great week. It's like, you need to stop overlooking the wins that you're making. You've managed to get this, and this done. You've managed to increase your weight on this in your workout. But the biggest ones is like things like she's just started a new job, and it's like started a new job. She's went in. She's feeling extreme. She's very confident. She's delivered our first meeting really well. I was like, that's all. Like, regardless of what else is going on with everything else, that's also winning. That should motivate you through the rest of it. You're juggling having a little one, a husband, a brand new job. You're still managing to get your nutrition right, your training, and you're still getting your training done. You say, oh, it's only 2 sessions. I'm like, 2 sessions is better than no sessions. Like, take these little wins and tick them off and use them to keep you motivated moving forwards. And I think that
Yeah.
we overlook all these things because we're all extremely tough on ourselves, and that's just human. That's just being a
Oh, we
human
could.
being, you know.
You can say, yeah, but that's the whole gap and gain thing, isn't it? You know, if you're constantly
Yeah,
looking at where you want to be, and although it's nice to have that outcome goal, but if you're only looking at that, then you miss all the things that are happening along the way. You're measuring your progress forwards, like I'll feel good when I get there, or that's where I'm aiming for, but you're not measuring backwards from where you were, and
yeah.
that's important, isn't it?
Stop looking at a destination. Start enjoying the journey
Yeah, and I know, oh,
because
Andy, you said journey.
you miss all the good stuff.
No, but it's so
Although
true, isn't it? Like,
we do know I hate the word journey.
I know, I think of you every time I write it. I'm like, um,
The
when
thing is,
I'm
I use
looking
it
at
as
when I was
well.
saying,
I sit and go.
there's not really anything. There's often the time where you just can't find anything else that works as well as it. But I was thinking about when I was writing my progress goals recently, like Monday, I wrote them because I was like, I'm going to join my members and do what they're doing to show that you don't have to go like all in. And the thing is, the reason I know that I can just keep going with this is, I mean, my habits are pretty good anyway, but the things that are slipped are not the things that make me feel good. So all I'm doing is focusing on feeling my best again. And then fat loss will
Yeah,
happen as an outcome of that. It will happen as an outcome because once I feel a bit more kind of organized with other areas, then that tends to happen. And yeah, and the danger of thinking I should be doing this and I should be doing that is the stress and the pressure it creates. Whereas if you're doing it in a way that you're like, this makes me feel good, this makes me feel excited, this makes me feel my best, then it's much easier, isn't it, to keep going, and then you can measure against where you were, you know. But there we go. I'm going to be having cake every week, Andy, on my fat loss journey every week.
yeah.
That was the
Well,
thing. I was
I had
like,
a
I'm going to have good cake once a week.
good. Well, that's it. As exactly as your methodology is, no crap cake, 100% right.
Yeah,
So
got to
yes,
do it.
that's it. And the thing
Yeah,
is, it's so disappointing when the cake's crap as well.
I actually
I
think it's going
genuinely
to
don't
have me
think there's.
going hunting.
Yeah, yeah. I'll need to make my chocolate cake that I did for Finley's birthday and send you some down because it was ridiculous. You'll be
Oh,
sugared
really?
out your nut
Oh,
for about 3 weeks because I used, you know,
I'll have to
if you
have a
the
measured portion.
oh honestly, like it's literally a slice of diabetes in a. I know you don't see it, but it literally is. It's like, oh my god, this is going to cause one hell of a sugar crash, which it did. Funnily enough, Finley was climbing along the walls, like something out of The Exorcist, and then all of a sudden had the most horrific crash. So yeah, it was a good cake though.
We've all done it, Andy. We've all done it, haven't we? You know, you learn from a young
Yep,
age.
yeah,
I've
that's it.
got something I thought we could chat about, actually. I was talking to a member earlier who was saying that she sometimes doesn't feel like she's working hard enough in the gym because when she finishes, she doesn't feel exhausted. But there is a difference. So there's the feeling like your muscles have worked really hard for a strength training session. And there's that endorphin boost that I think a lot of women can expect after any workout, the sweaty cardio
Mm.
feeling that you get after more cardio. And there is a difference, isn't there? And I think you can feel tired and still feel great after a strength training session, but you might not get that kind of sweaty mess feeling.
Yeah, like we all respond differently to exercise. I generally will go into the gym and I'll have like a vest, a t-shirt, and a jumper on, and by my second set of my first exercise, I'm down to my t-shirt. By my second exercise, I'm down to my vest, and I'm sweating like an absolute madman. But I've seen people, and I've worked with clients who must like their body must handle heat so well, or they're just struggle to get any heat up because they don't sweat even when they're kicking the back end of it. So there's a whole different ways of judging how your training's going. Like we've always said this about DOMs as well. You know, DOMs are not a good judge of how well your training session is. But I will caveat that it's always nice to have a feeling the next day of, oh, I definitely trained yesterday. I'm feeling like I can feel myself, but that doesn't mean that it's been like, that's not a judge of a good session. It's not a judge of a bad session either. So we just need to
Yeah.
be able to distinguish between, and individually as well.
Yeah, and actually, when we're talking about DOMs, there's the whole thing that if it's a brand new block, you might get some DOMs because you've like some more intense DOMs because you've just started some different exercises. You're moving a slightly different way, using the muscles slightly differently. But if you're constantly getting DOMs when you've been on a block for a while, I mean, that can be a sign of recovery issues and so on as well. So it's not always a positive thing. Like I know if I'm run down, I might get worse DOMs than if I'm not run down, you know, as well. But no, I was thinking about how I feel after a run in comparison to how I feel after a gym session. I feel good after the gym and I've worked my muscles hard, but it's a different feeling. And I think sometimes we're expecting to have that feeling after a gym session. And I treat my strength sessions really as purely strength at the moment. I probably could do with putting in some practice for the Tryker, but they're purely strength. And then my running sessions are my cardio. And they leave me feeling just different, you know, than the strength-based work. And that's to be expected. I wouldn't be trying to get that same feeling from a strength session, because if I was doing that, I'd probably be doing some functional fitness, Andy?
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, your difference in, if you're doing strength work, you're probably going to find that you're going to have slightly longer rest periods, so your body's probably going to be able to sort of handle things a little bit better as well. So your
Mm.
body may recover a bit quicker. Your body might not pick up to the temperature that you would do if you were doing a cardio session or a hypertrophy session where you're like banging in 20 reps per set. You probably find that you're sweating like a madman at that stuff, but and I think as well, it's again very individual as well. Some people can do a heavy duty cardio session with a bead of perspiration on their brow, whereas I think if I was to do a bit of cardio, I'd be literally swimming. So
Yeah. Yes. And I mean, I do tend to perspire or sparkle, whatever you want to say, a fair bit when
I like
I'm
I
doing
like
any
that
cardio.
sparkle.
Sparkle, glisten, glisten. And
That's good.
I think people used to say, "Oh, it's a sign of fitness," and I was like, "No, I've always done this, no matter how fit or
Yeah.
not. It's just how I am." And annoyingly, I do seem to react to that. But then there's also when you're strength training, I do think that some people are really, really good at understanding what near failure feels like, um, and other people, like it can be
Not
a
so
weird
much.
feeling. No, yeah, and when I say not so much, even that is probably a bit harsh, because I think it's really easy to think, oh, I'm starting to feel it, or stop, or just read the number of reps that you've got to do and just do that. And
Yeah.
I think there's part of our safety in our mind going, you've done enough. That's going to hurt
Yeah.
anymore. And sometimes it's only a
Yeah.
couple of more that you could probably squeeze out a couple more, and that can make a difference. You just want to be working those muscles so that they're really feeling it by the end of each set, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. But
Um, I've got an interesting topic actually.
oh,
So I
I'll be the
popped
judge of
up on my
that.
Instagram. Okay, popped on my. Well, you might like it actually. I popped on my Instagram yesterday, just like some simple gym etiquette.
You love a
Um,
gym etiquette.
oh, I know, I know. So I've got my ones were put your kit away,
Yes.
clean up after yourself, like
Yes.
wiping down sweaty benches and stuff. Personal hygiene isn't optional. You need to be you kind of just go in stinking because that's just not fun for everybody else. Letting other people work in with you within reason, because I understand that if I'm benching 180 kilos and somebody's benching 40 kilos, that's just not going to work. Um, Taking phone calls on the gym floor, especially when they're on speakerphone, somebody needs punched in the face for that. And then using kit in any way that potentially damages the kit, i.e., putting it under pressure for other members that can't then use it if you break it. So I got a bundle of other people popping stuff in, so it's quite good. So here are some of the ones here. Wear trainers, not flip flops, and don't call them sliders. This isn't the USA. I kind of agree with that one. Same as
Yeah.
Crocs as well.
Crocs. I
Fucking
see Crocs in the
man.
gym quite a lot. I mean, I see on Instagram more than actually in the
There are
gym.
two types of people that wear Crocs, right? Number one, medical professionals. Two, I don't even know if I want to say this on our podcast because this could be construed as. But so that there's two
Must be bad if
medical
Andy's going to hold
personnel,
up.
serial killers.
Oh,
If you wear Crocs, you are a serial killer.
I'm going to. Do you know, it makes me
End of
happy.
story.
It makes me happy you said that because there's a guy at the gym, Nick, very lovely Nick. I might clip this and send it to him because he is literally obsessed with his Crocs.
I was going to use the term pedophile, but I thought I'd go with serial killer instead. Crocs are terrible, man. Do you know why Crocs? Do you know why they were invented?
They were from Australia. I know that.
They were invented for. I think it was a film that was based in the future when everybody was basically an absolute moron, and they all wore these stupid shoes, which were Crocs. I'm sure the film's called. Don't think it's called Losers, but it's got it's not what's Owen Wilson's brother called? Luke Wilson. He's in the film.
Oh, really? I was just trying to. I was just looking up, but it was like they were invented to do, the history of Crocs as the shoe. They were chosen for the film Idiocracy.
Idiocracy, yeah. They were chosen for that, and that's why. Yeah.
But they weren't. They were around before
they
that.
They were made for that film. Don't you do this.
I'm sorry, Andy, but that was 2006. And I remember them in the year early 2000s really? As garden shoes. People, that was when. So I had this pair at home to go into the garden in 2000.
Serial killers.
Yeah, but my mum then had that same pair of Crocs for her going out in the garden until probably a couple of years ago. She just would wear them to go out in the garden. The only time I've had Crocs were to go in the water over the reefs in Barbados because I couldn't get any reef shoes when I was there, and I found in the duty-free some tie-dye Crocs. But I had this condition when I bought them. I was like, no, I'm never allowed to wear them to the shops.
Your condition was you were a serial killer. You're a serial killer for the time you were wearing your Crocs.
Yeah. Just for that time. I actually went to the theatre the other day, and it was called Makings of a Murderer. I thought it was going to be about serial killers, but it was just about murder in general.
It was just about people wearing Crocs.
Yes. Maybe he did say because it was an unsolved murder from Scotland that he was talking about, and he did say if anyone's got any thoughts on this, so maybe you should email him and just say, have you considered
did they wear
down
Crocs?
By Scots? Yes.
Did they wear Crocs? Because
exactly.
If they did, they were definitely guilty of something, anything.
He'll probably say we don't know because the crime scene was so damaged, so they wouldn't have been able to pick up the prints.
By wearing these big stupid things on your feet.
Surely in Scotland it's too cold for Crocs. Got holes in your shoes.
Oh, you'd be surprised, honestly. Some other ones that I got through were standing in front of the weights rack. I'm with you on that one. I do think that's an extreme annoyance. Do you know another one that really annoys me is when people you've got 20 benches, and the benches are generally run from the lightest weight to the heaviest weight at the other end. And when it's when it's really quiet, people taking the 2 kilo dumbbells in front of the 50s. And I'm like, I want to move the 50s, and I don't expect to have to move them the length of the rack to fucking use them. Why are you bringing 2s up here? There's a bench down there. Let's just stay down there.
It's very understanding.
I just don't understand
Andy.
it. Yeah. Oh, there's one for you. Filming your sets, but don't set your kit up in someone's training space. With you on that one. I do like that. Also, another one somebody else put actually was the fact that this is something I've noticed, right? Two things for you, right? Number one, why do people filming every single set that they do in their training? It just makes no sense. train your maximal weight, like your maximal set where you're lifting your heaviest weight. Okay, look at that one because that's the one that's going to tell you the most about how your technique is, what you need
Yeah,
to do
not your
to make it
warm-ups.
better. Yeah, well, what are you're sitting recording fucking 5 sets. Why are you recording 5 sets? Is it so you get the
And
perfect light so that your perfect light that's glistening off your bicep? I
you
don't get it.
don't need to film deadlifts from behind, if you know, or stiff leg deadlifts from behind.
Did you have you seen that one that's doing the round just now with the girl who's got like she's put the peach emoji on her bum?
Oh no, I haven't.
I'll find it for you because there's quite a few folk have shared it. I think Joey Swole shared it, and I'm pretty sure Phil Lerney did as well. It's basically this is it. It's girl. She's got like a picture of a peach on her bum, and it's like
Yeah.
filming every exercise with her arse in shot. When actually none of the exercises are showing you what you're actually doing in the exercise.
Oh, I
Like
can see it.
stiff leg deadlifts from behind, not from the side where you're going to see what
Bent
technique's
over,
about. It's
bent
so
over
true. It's
row.
like such a good reel.
I mean,
She's
you want to
absolutely
see if
nailed it
it's.
to the mast.
I mean,
It's
that's
so true though, because
fantastic.
you're
I
like
haven't watched it yet.
picture from behind doing a dumbbell row. You can't see what you're doing there. All you can see is your arse. Go to the side.
With
That's where you
deadlifts,
see
you want
the
to see
form from.
side, maybe slightly towards the front and side, so you can see both the sides. So you can see what your back's doing. You can see what your knees are doing. You know, you can see all of that. So you want side,
Exactly.
maybe slightly to the front, but not. It doesn't need to be from behind because I don't
Yeah.
need to see what your bum looks like.
What you've had for breakfast? We're not interested. The other one
Do
that's
you know?
the other one that's done it.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of gyms now, which I don't think's right for a start. I think it's really bad etiquette. Is personal, like it would be like me on FaceTime with you, coaching you in somebody else's gym. I
Oh
think
no,
that's
that's.
just bad. I think that's just really bad etiquette. That's like me going into a field and starting training people. I just don't
I
happen to be there. I'm on a phone doing it. Like I think that's really bad pattern.
I have never seen that happen, but I've heard a few people say that it happens, and I find it very strange because I'm surprised that gyms allow it because they obviously have their personal
They shouldn't
trainers
be
in
allowing
there.
it for a start.
Mm,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I mean having your own app,
It's a really
going in,
strange one.
writing it down, that's fine. We
Yeah,
all do that.
my clients
But
have got access to an app that they use for monitoring programs and progress.
yeah,
And I think there are videos on the app that show you how to do the exercise. But I am
yeah,
not there coaching you on the phone whilst you're in the gym. I just think
yeah,
I think that's quite poor chat, to be fair. I think that's like gym etiquette. If you're a coach or a personal trainer, you're doing that. You're taking the piss a little bit. So yeah.
yeah. No, that is. I've got one thing that I find slightly hard in the gym. I don't get upset, and it's not like anyone's problem apart from mine. In that I don't like to block space for anyone, and I wanted to do some deadlifting, and they don't have like a space that is for deadlifting. So they've got like the trap bars there, they've got everything. And I said to them, where would you like me to set up to deadlift? Because they don't like you doing it upstairs and you would be blocking the corridors. And they were like, no, in front of the rack. And I was like, oh, I just thought that if there's one rack downstairs, and if somebody wants to do any squats or presses, it's there. I feel like the deadlifts should be able to be away from the actual rack. So if I'm deadlifting, I have to block a rack, which I just find, or the only rack, which I find a bit, I kind of feel like a gym, it'd be nice if they had a bit of floor space where you could set up to deadlift, really. So that's my only kind of thing that I'm finding more challenging at the moment in the gym, because if somebody's on the rack, should be able to just set up and do a deadlift because it doesn't need the
Yeah.
rack. And there's normally always somebody on it because it's a popular place to hang out.
I think provided you're not like deadlifting in somewhere like in the middle of the area that's got benches in it, like
There's just I
you know
don't think there's
yourself,
anywhere.
you
I
can
don't
usually
think.
situate yourself off to the side.
Yeah, but there's machines all around the site. I just can't think of where I could do it apart from in the corridor, with the things. So that's the
Mm.
only issue. But yeah,
Do
I
they
don't
have a
know.
platform? Do they have a platform with the rack?
Uh, no, no,
No.
no platform. No. So
See,
it really
I
is
know
just
that
the
like
space around the rack, a little bit of space around, so you've got enough room there. But if somebody was on the rack, you couldn't set up behind them because then you've got another machine. Like it would be
yeah,
odd. So that's the only
quick too
thing. And
close.
I think it's more of the people that own it, and they're lovely, but they're more bodybuilders, so they use a lot of the machine weights
Mm.
and the
Yeah,
dumbbells, and it's less deadlifting. And not that I deadlift super heavy that often. I'm doing trap bar more now just because I find it's a bit nicer for my back. And
yeah,
I'll do a stiff leg deadlift, which I will do upstairs because I'm not dropping any weight. I'm not, bouncing it off the floor. Not that I do that with deadlifts particularly, but
yeah.
I do it up there. I do stiff leg deadlift. But no, but it is nice. It's quite nice using the machines as well as the free weights. For years I was just only had access to free weights, so it's quite nice having
Mm.
both
I
both
think it's
options.
interesting because I think you do get the odd gym snob that's like, oh, resistance machines. You're like, well, to be fair, resistance machines have got a lot of benefit. They're fantastic for newbie clients who have never been in a gym before because there's rarely a chance that you get the thing wrong when you're setting up on it. And it's, each of those machine weights has got a free weight that
Hmm.
basically is the variant of what it is. So these and it's and you've got things like leg extension and leg curl. There are some really difficult ways to try to get your quads to fire up as well as a leg extension when
I
you're using
love
free
leg
weights.
extension. I love it. I just
Oh,
really
leg
feel my
extensions.
quads. I love them.
For anybody who's listening, and Ruth, you should try this, right? So there's a real
Oh
go
God.
right back to your very, very start of your doing your PT journey. Do you remember time under tension?
Yeah. Yeah, I still will slow
So
things down and
TUT. Well, if you do the
yeah.
proper TUT protocol, it's
Yeah.
a sliding scale. So you would do 12 reps, increase the weight, 10 reps, increase the weight, 8 reps, increase
Yeah.
6, and then increase for a 4. Then you would do a four plus, so like a 4 maximal set. So work your way down on reps, up in weight until you get to the fourth set of 4, and then you would use the same weight again, but your time under tension is 3 second concentric, 3 seconds negative. So 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down for every single rep until you get to the last set of 4, where you basically go back to like a 2-1, 2-1, just like a quicker tempo, and you try as many reps as you can with that weight that you did your 4 reps for. So it's a horrible, horrible one to do, but it really makes things sing. Like you fire up your quads, something horrible.
I was
And
just
same with
think
any exercise you use it for.
I was just looking to see if I've put them in my session, if they're in my session tomorrow, because I will do it tomorrow and feed back to you, because actually tomorrow would be a better day to do it because my run on Thursday
Mm,
is an easier run. But if I do that on
nice.
Friday and I've got a long run the next day, I think I'll be killing you.
That's not going to be so much fun.
No, I'm just looking, I'm like, please, it would be cool if, oh, it's not. Oh, well, maybe I'll put it in tomorrow anyway. It'd be all right. I might put it in as a little bonus for myself. I bet it's in on Friday. Oh, it's not. So it must have been in yesterday. Shows what I remember. But yeah, no, I'll put it in tomorrow. I'll do that, Andy. I will do a true TUT, but not just a 3-second eccentric that I'll end up doing sometimes.
Yeah, I'll send you over what you need to do for it.
Okay.
Once we're done,
Happy to be.
and you can try it.
I want good quads, Andy. I
Good quads.
Yeah, I think, well, there's something else I'm enjoying machines for. I might have said this to you already, but you call it the good girl, bad girl machine. I'm pretty
Yep.
sure. But so with my lower back pain, I get told that I need to really, really activate my glute med because of the fact that it's trying, like, although it still seems to be holding the strength fine, it's not activating so well. It's just trying to save a bit of pain. And it's very hard to make yourself activate this, because your body will just automatically try and find little shortcuts if you've had pain in an area.
A
You get
slight
on
twist or a movement to get round
tiny
it.
little, so sometimes my back will start to really hurt when I'm trying to activate my glute med because of that. But I get onto the abductor machine and I'm doing those exercises and you can feel it working, but there's no other movement going on at all. So I'm really able to target that. So I've been really enjoying using that because it's keeping me in one place, and therefore rehab wise, I'm finding it quite a useful bit of kit just to
Yeah,
strengthen that glute med.
it's
Yeah.
it's always good. I tried to play football on Friday night, and my adductor. It's actually not my adductor now. It's my psoas, so the muscle that
Yeah.
the like runs up through your abdominal. So my physio was giving me, Sean's giving me a bundle or a couple of exercises to do, basically knee pin dead bugs. So like a foam roller between my knees, and then doing dead bugs that way whilst keeping everything tightened in. Anytime that I'm squatting, rather than stacking my ribs down, which I would normally teach how to squat and brace, I actually tilt slightly so that my psoas fires up, and takes the brunt off everything else around there. And then doing some banded marching. So basically my foot in a band and just doing high knee marches
Yeah.
whilst keeping my abdominals tight. Oh my God. Like see as soon as you do stuff like that, like my psoas is like screaming at me. It's like, oh my, like my abs have like, I'm sitting going, oh man, that might be a good way of getting a proper six pack.
I used to
That's all I
give
can
that.
feel is my abdominals. I'm like, oh shit.
I used to give banded marches to like runners as well, and then we'd try and against often I used to run a runner's strength camp, and we'd give them
Yeah,
those as a way of just getting a bit of power, but also like you said, like every exercise we do, we should be at some way really engaging our core a bit. But actually the exercises you've just listed, I'm like, they could be beneficial for me because again, when you're protecting that lower back pain, your lower abdominals can start to switch off a little bit, so you can end up being, so I know that the movement in my pelvis right down at the bottom, I'm so stiff there now that I'm tending to move from the arch in my back rather than the actual
yeah.
pelvic tilt. So that's not really moving. So if you said to me, I'd arch my back, so I need to create that. And some of the exercises you said there, I was like, they would be ones that would be good for me.
Might be good for you as well. Like, so Sean's given me a test for psoas, which is, have you done Copenhagen's before?
Oh, I love a Copenhagen because they hit the
Yeah.
adductors.
I genuinely, I tried
I
to
mean, I
do it
don't love them as
on,
in they're hard, but
I
I would
tried to
do
do it
them.
on Friday when I saw him, and I was like, oh no, it feels like my psoas is about to explode out my hip. So I was like, he
I
was like, right, that's going to be your test. So you need to do your rehab and excuse me, I've said to Ruth beforehand, I'm hiccuping and kind of burping because I had salsa for my lunch. So I'm like hiccuping onions, and
Oh, it's
coriander. So I'm a bit
beautiful.
like, who? So you're glad you're on Zoom and not with me, because I don't think it would be I don't
There's a
think it would
reason
be
I
the greatest
online.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But the Copenhagen's, gee whiz, man, they're a different animal. Like,
They
gee,
are, and actually,
but
I will put them in my programming for members, but I always give, so you can make them easier. So you could do it so that you've got your lower legs like on
yeah,
the floor to begin with before you lift it up.
yeah,
You could have more of your leg on the bench that can help. You can also do like
yeah,
a floor variation, so you're doing a side plank and lifting up your bottom leg a bit as well.
yeah,
And then I'll do like a side plank leg raise is like sort of hitting it a little bit in a similar sort of way, but or even just lying on the floor and doing a leg raise right back at the beginning.
yeah.
But ideally you want to be hitting those abdominal muscles and your adductor, but I've got one side that feels easier than the other as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to do my left side, I was like, nope, that's not happening.
Yeah. Oh, so
So
have you,
yeah,
this is going to get you building up time?
yeah, I've got to build up to 10 reps.
So what are you doing? Because I will hold them for time, and then would you do the dips as well? You can do. So what are you doing if you're saying reps?
So basically just doing drops
You're do,
and bringing it
you're
back
doing the
up level
drops.
on the
Oh,
bench.
they're horrible. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I will do
they're
holds mainly with
disgusting.
members. Yeah, I'll do timed holds normally, but I will. Yeah, I mean, I will do dips myself, but they're not as good. So I can see why you don't like those. I thought you meant just the
Yeah,
static
they are not
holds.
fun.
No, they're horrible, but probably good for us. Hey, Andy, aren't you the one that says if you don't
Absolutely.
like it, then probably you need to do more of it?
Exactly. It's good. The thing is, like, as soon as you get any kind of stuff like that, I'm like, right, just plug it in. I know I don't like
Yeah,
it, but it needs to get done.
do you know what? It's
Needs to
made
get
me
done.
also go, actually, they're not in my current training block. I can put those bad boys in. They would work well at the
Absolutely.
moment. Yeah, and they're nice because they
Yeah,
can
I've,
kind of
I've
act as an accessory as well,
yeah,
exercise.
I've got squats back, like barbell squat back in this kind of training block. So I'm doing like an extra session on a Friday, like lower body power stuff. So yeah, having squats back in is quite interesting.
Yeah, I haven't got squats. I haven't got squats in mine at the moment. I've got split squats, obviously, but no
Yeah.
actual squat. Oh, enjoy
I've
that,
got Smith
Andy.
machine squats for leg day, Smith machine squats for quad day, and then a lower body day when I'm doing barbell squat, working a bit more on power stuff.
Front
So
or
yeah, it's
just back? Front squat, back squat.
back squat.
Yeah.
I'm not flexible enough to get front squat.
Yeah, I know.
My shoulders say no.
I can do it, but it's taken quite a lot because you have to keep your elbows high enough, and I'm not going to be doing any zombie or
No,
that
I can do it as
because
well, but my hands are like literally at the collars, so wide. I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, this is great.
I do have to make sure I'm wearing squat shoes if I'm doing, or raise my heels a little bit if I'm
Yeah,
doing front squats.
yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, it's fun and games. Oh, it sounds like you're focusing on getting better. We can all learn that lesson. There's normally things that we can do when it feels like injury. It can be quite demoralizing when it happens, can't it? And it can be quite hard to start again. I've got a lovely client who had a back issue and she didn't stop training. She just had to adapt and adjust her training. She was struggling with walking when it first kicked off. And now it's starting to get better and she's still maintaining a lot of strength. And I think that is just the fact that she didn't completely stop. It feels like she just adjusted but kept going. She hadn't given up at all. And I think that's quite important because it's so easy
Yeah.
to feel like I can't do what I normally do, so might as well do
It's
nothing.
definitely a change. When you get to that point, it's definitely a change in mindset because you can you could become as frustrated as you want, and you can whinge and you can bitch and moan about the fact you're injured. But actually, what you need to look at it when you get injured or anything like that is number one, what are the steps I need to get better? What else can I do around it? Because there's always going to be something else you can do around it. And just changing up your mindset to being a bit more positive about stuff. And I understand that that's easy to say, but having gone back 12 years when I got my ACL reconstructed,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
back in the gym the day after. I was doing upper body work, and then there was a lot of research on the go that says that if you still train the opposing, like it was my right leg, if I could still train my left leg with things like leg extension, I can offset an amount of atrophy off the injured leg. So, you can always be positive about stuff. And yeah, you know what, you can sit in a mire for a wee bit, but at some point you're going to have to pull yourself out of that hole and get yourself
Yeah.
back to doing stuff. Um,
Yeah.
and there's nothing better to keep your mind off the fact that you're feeling frustrated than giving yourself a challenge or giving yourself something that you can do.
And I think that can feel so good. Like, it's very easy to just beat yourself up, like we said, going full circle about where you're not.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the calm that comes over you when you have a clear plan and you can look at your actions. It's like, if I just do
yeah,
this and stick to doing this and I'll get to wherever I want to be, that will just happen as a byproduct of doing these things. That can be
yeah,
just calming in itself. You're not putting the pressure on anymore. You're just focusing on showing up in whatever way you can each day.
yeah.
And it feels quite nice, doesn't it, in a way?
That's it.
But
Well, it's also as well, you go from being injured and I can't do anything to being actually becoming a bit more productive as well.
yeah,
It's I think for me, having this discussion with Sean last week, physio, I was just saying that it's like the physios. I think that the NHS do a fantastic job, But I think that physios in the NHS they see it all. So their thought process at times is just a bit like, well, nobody's really that bothered. I remember going in to see them doing my knee rehab, and I would go in and there was 5 physios in there, and there was no other people. I was like, how many folk are supposed to be here? 20 people for a knee class. It's basically me. So you can understand why they get frustrated and they kind of get a bit
Yeah.
more like, what's the point? I can't be bothered. Whereas I always prefer to work with a physio like Sean, and I worked with a woman called Mary McPhail in the past, she was Scottish rugby physio. She worked for Cricket Scotland. And she was very positive. So although I was injured and I was trying to rehab, I was still able to go and do other stuff. So she would be like, right, you can go and do this, this, and this. You can still train, but just be aware of what you're doing around about the injury that you've currently got. If it's not sore, keep going. If it is sore, don't be stupid, don't push through it. And I think having that little black book of a good physio, a good masseuse, a coach, whatever it is that you need is for for us as coaches is big, but also if you're just a client, you need to still have this little kind of index of people that you can reach out to and find out a bit more about and get help from. That's kind of how life works, isn't it?
100%. It's so easy to just kind of get lost, feel lost or helpless otherwise, isn't it? Just getting those people that can. I've got a fantastic physio, but again, like, it's very nice if she gives me like some manipulation, or you feel like you get that instant relief, but more often than not, it's actually the work you do outside of that session that's going to make the biggest difference. Although I did once, I had a facet joint that went, and it was awful. And I thought, oh no, I'm going away, blah, blah, blah. And she literally just clunk, and it felt so much better immediately. So occasionally we have things where we're like, oh, it just was out and it just needed a bit of manipulation. But on the whole, normally it's not that, is it?
That's it. Exactly right.
No. Yeah, I'm going, I might go and do some Cobra in a minute to to help my lower back as well. I've got a funny to finish on, just a little thing that happened yesterday that you might appreciate. I took my son to Specsavers in the morning, and there was a bit of confusion with something. So they called up my husband, but they left a voice, like a answer machine message. But now the AI transcript comes on to the messages now, so you don't have to listen to the message. It tells you what they've said. It summarizes it. And anyway,
that's right.
Yeah. So this is what Specsavers message started off as. It said, "Hello, Mr. McIntyre. It's Joe from Sex Favors. I do apologize for taking the time to get back to you." And I was like, that is the best typo from AI.
From Sex Savers.
Sex Favors. Sex Favors, not Sex Savers even.
So then when he spoke, Sex Favors. Amazing.
Yeah, so then he told them when they phoned, and they were like, they thought it was brilliant. Luckily, she was like, "I'm so sorry, but that is brilliant." She was like, "I promise."
Don't be sorry. This is giving me ammunition to laugh for about a year.
Yeah, well, I put it up on my stories yesterday, and actually, I've had a few comments about it.
Get my eyes tested at Sex Favors. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, Sex Favors. They don't realise I've got an optician's appointment on Thursday. Like, I haven't had one for a while, but I'm pretty sure that my eyesight's changed.
Just don't answer the phone when they try to phone you. Just let it go straight to voicemail.
I'm never going to now. Yeah, exactly. But I think I'm going to be like, oh, sorry. Actually, saying that, I got a text message from them, but I really want them to call me. Just in case Yeah, I'm just wondering. No, I haven't had any AI. Just the normal messages. That's really annoying. Yeah, but now I'm disappointed. I want calls.
You want a message from Sex Favors?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, oh no, hang on, I have. No, it says Specsavers. I did get a missed call. They tried calling me first, but it said Specsavers. He's asked me to give him a call. Oh, that's annoying. I was like, maybe I got one too, but it came out right. Anyway, on that note, Andy, I think we should remind people that we do like them to let us know. Yeah.
Yeah. As always, please share the fact that you're listening to the podcast. Screenshot it, pop it up on Instagram, Facebook, tag us in it. Ruth is on Instagram is at Ruth Mac Fit. That's MAC Fit, and I am Andy _Wolfpack. Give us a 5-star rating wherever you listen to your podcast. It just makes us a bit more viewable for people that may find it interesting, may need some help. And if anybody wants to inquire about anything, coaching, any questions, get us on Instagram. That's where we are.
Exactly. We do love hearing from you, and you can comment as well, anything that you particularly enjoy, or maybe tell us if there's any bugbears that you have in the gym.
Exactly.
Andy loves
just wait until I get hatred about the fact that I've just called everybody wearing Crocs a serial killer.
Please do comment on that.
I stand by it.
I want to know how Andy knows that. Like, where's the facts, Andy? How do you actually know? We could get into a debate about that. Maybe that will be the next podcast. What Andy really knows about croc wearers. Where has this come from?
Harold Shipman. I bet you he wore Crocs.
I mean, there's only one way to find out. Surely AI will know. I'll go into ChatGPT. But please do feel free to give Andy shit for his chat. Always happy
100%.
to see.
I'm up for
Andy
that.
Loves it.
Always
and I'm very
that.
open to joining you. Anyway, thank you very much. Until next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.